What's up, guys? It's Bumpkins. Today is Wednesday, December 8th. Wednesday means New Comic Book Day. New Comic Book Day means New Comic Book Haul video. As always, I went down to Infinity Flux here in Chattanooga, Tennessee for another big old stack of books and a couple other goodies as well. Real quick, guys, if you are in the US and you don't have a comic shop of your own, reach out to Infinity Flux, let them know what you need, what you're looking for. They will mail around the country. So, like I said, if you don't have your own, they can be yours, even if you're not here. So let's go ahead and jump into these books, because there was a lot of good books this week, and I've actually read several of them already, which is very much unlike me. But we're going to start with Marvel with Amazing Fantasy number 5. I actually caught up on this series last night, read this one today. This was an excellent, well, it had a weird ending. It's been a great series. I didn't really understand the ending all that much, but that's okay, because it was really fun. A young Spider-Man, Captain America, Black Widow, from different moments in time, all get plucked out, thrown into this fantasy land where they have to go through this ordeal. I don't want to say too much, but the art was great. The story was really fun. It was really cool seeing those characters in a different setting. And this is the final issue. Like I said, had a weird ending, but I still enjoyed it. I very much like this. Probably would be read better in trade, but I'm not mad that I bought it monthly, so I really enjoyed this one. One that I haven't read because it's Amazing Spider-Man number 80.BEY. I am making my way through this series, though. I'm in the middle of the Hunted storyline right now. I think I'm like up to issue 20, so only 60 more to go before I can read this, but I'm enjoying it all right, and I can't wait to catch up on this one. Giant Size Black Cat Infinity Score number 1. So I haven't read this because I haven't read the other Infinite. I think this is related to the Infinite Destinies thing that went through some of the annuals. Maybe not. I'm not too sure. Maybe I could go ahead and read this one. I thought it capped that off. So maybe I could read this, but I'll find out, and maybe I'll give that one a shot. So one that I read today that I loved was Devil's Reign number 1. This is the next part of Chip Zdarsky's big run on Daredevil. So his main run just ended last week or maybe 2 weeks ago with Daredevil number 36. I actually did catch up on that road and read through the whole thing. It was fantastic. And then the end of that leads into this. So basically, the Kingpin is mayor of New York. He outlaws superheroes. But I don't want to say why, because it relates to the end of the Daredevil 36, which was really interesting. I was a little bit confused about it, but it was cleared up in this issue. So yeah, the Kingpin, Mayor, outlaw superheroes, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, even Captain America and Iron Man have to sort of figure out what to do and how to deal with it. It sounds a little bit Civil War-y, I know, because of the Superhero Registration Act. This is different though. That was superheroes needed to register their identities. This is you can't be a superhero at all, period. And if you do, you're arrested. And there's other characters that, well, I don't want to say too much, but this was really, really good. I'm so glad I caught up on Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil so that I could read this when it came out. That's the whole reason I did it. And it was worth the wait. It was worth the effort of getting through those quickly. Well, I mean, they were good anyway, but this was a fantastic story. So if you're a fan of Daredevil and you like what Zdarsky's been doing with the recent run, you'll definitely enjoy this. Death of Doctor Strange Blade number 1. So I have caught up on all the Death of Doctor Strange stuff. I'm enjoying the main storyline, the tie-ins, like this one. I haven't read this one yet, but the other tie-ins, I could do with or without. They don't add a lot to moving the story forward. I did like the Spider-Man one. That one was pretty good. The Strange Academy one didn't resonate with me because I've not read Strange Academy, so I don't really have a connection with the characters that were in that. But I'm enjoying the storyline, and I'm a sucker. I have to get all the tie-ins, so this is just another one of those. Fantastic Four Life Story number 5. I haven't read this series yet, but I do have them all. At this point, I'm just going to wait for the 6th one and then read them all at once. But again, like I've said before, if this is anything like Spider-Man Life Story, then I know it's going to be fantastic. So that was it for the Marvel books, but with DC, we've got some bangers this week. Batman number 118. So every time there's a Batman book that comes out, I have to say, yeah, I haven't read the Tynion era. I haven't read Nightwing or Detective or Tynion's Batman or Joker, that they all sort of go together. Normally I put them in my pile down here. Well, I went totally rogue today, and this is the start of a whole brand new story arc, a new creative team. Joshua Williamson, Jorge Molina. Sorry, I was getting that confused with Me You Live in the Dark. But this just is a whole new direction, not a new direction, but just a whole new story, new creative team, new everything. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to gamble that I don't have to have read a lot of what came before. I'm aware of what happened, but I don't know the details. And I read this, and it was interesting. It was a lot of setup for the story that's to come. But you don't really need to have read any of the Tiny stuff to pick up this. It's actually more helpful to know about Grant Morrison's Batman Incorporated from, like, what was it, 10 or 15 years ago at this point? That is more helpful for this story than any of the Tiny stuff. So, and I had read a lot of that, so thank goodness. So I might actually start reading Batman Monthly. I'm still going to catch up on the Tiny stuff. And Tom Taylor's Nightwing and Detective and Joker and all that stuff that goes with it. But I might go ahead and jump on this one as well, because this was pretty interesting, and I want to see where it goes. Also had to go with the McFarlane homage variant, because that's just awesome. Batman 89 number 4. I'm behind on this series as well, but looks like we might get Robin in this issue if we haven't already, so that is really cool. And then one that was super cool is Dark Knights of Steel number 2 from Tom Taylor. This one was fantastic. So this is it doesn't have the logo on it, but it's basically an Elseworlds type story where it's basically DC characters, you know, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Black Lightning, Harley Quinn, a whole bunch of other characters in a medieval setting. So it has nothing to do with anything else that DC's putting out right now, and it is so good. Characters are different than what you might expect in the regular books. Right now it looks like there's 2 different houses. So if you think Game of Thrones and how there are all these different houses sort of battling against each other, right now there seems to be 2. I don't know if there's going to be more or not. This story is great. We meet more characters in this one that weren't in the first one. More surprises. I won't say anything about what happened, but it was so good. I wish this would just be like an ongoing series for forever, because this one is great. If you like any of the stuff that I mentioned, you're going to like this. Green Lantern number 9. I'm way behind on this series. I love that cover, though. This is a book that I think I might hop off of, but reading the solicits a couple months ahead, I'm going to maybe hang on until this story arc is over, and then maybe go to trades after that, just because I'm so far behind. It's not one that I really need every month. And like I said before, this isn't a book. The story that they're telling is good. It's not necessarily the Green Lantern story that I want to read right now. Which just means that I'm okay waiting if I go that route. So it doesn't mean it's bad, just that I don't have to read it as soon as it comes in. But I am excited to catch up, and maybe I'll change my mind. Another one that I read that I really enjoyed, Superman Son of Kal-El 2021 Annual. This one was really cool. It's basically all about John Kent and Lex Luthor. And, you know, Clark Kent, Superman, Lex Luthor, they go together, right? So now how does John Kent deal with Lex Luthor? It's a nice one-and-done story for the most part, although the ending does seem like it's going to have ramifications or effects in John Kent's own book. Written by Tom Taylor again, so we've got that's not it. We've got the Tom Taylor 1-2 punch here. These are both great. You guys know that this is probably my second favorite book from DC after Robin. Well, you got the Nice House on the Lake there too, so I don't know. Just so much good stuff coming out of DC, and this is one of those. And then another one I read yesterday that I really enjoyed is Suicide Squad number 10, which out of all these big books and things that I'm thinking about dropping like Green Lantern, I would think that this one, I've surprised myself that this one has hung around as long as it has, but this is a really good book. It's just fun. You know, I just like these characters. Amanda Waller seems like she's gone off the deep end. Like, she's always sort of done a lot of bad things for good reasons, but now it just seems like she's just doing bad things. And how do the Suicide Squad deal with that? And then Rick Flag is putting his own group together to take her down. It's just so interesting. The art is really good. This is a really fun book that I had planned to drop until I caught up on it. I was like, yeah, I want to read that every month. So I recommend this one. Over at Image, we've got some cool books this week. Crossover number 10. I'm still enjoying this series. I think it's lost a little tiny bit of its shine for me, but I'm still enjoying it. I may hop off whenever this next story arc ends and then go to trades after that, because it's starting to get a little bit harder to sort of keep up with what's going on. They are in the second story arc now. Now that some things have been revealed, I guess some of the magic is gone, and that's probably just on me. It's not the book's fault. But I am looking forward to catching up on this one, and again, I might change my mind on that. Made in Korea number 6. I think this is the end of this series. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. I think I'm behind one issue, so I need to read 5 and then this one, and I think that'll be it. So this one's a weird one. Post Americana number 7. So I read the first 6, and issue number 6 came out in July. And now we're on number 7 in December. So I don't know, a lot of Image books are doing this thing. Noctera's doing it, Geiger's doing it, where they do like a first story arc, like 5 or 6 issues, and then they take a hiatus for several months. And then they come back with continued numbering, with a new story arc. So I don't know if this is doing that. I thought it was the end, but I just don't know. So if it's not the end, I think I'm gonna hop off this one too and wait for trade, just because it's been so long since I've read this. I actually need to go back and reread number 6 and then see what's up with this one. But I did enjoy it when I read it, and I'm gonna try this one out. One that I just finished reading just a little while ago is the Silver Coin number 7. So you guys know that this, I've sort of felt that Silver Coin's been a little bit of a roller coaster. Issue 1 was fantastic. 2, 3, and 4 I didn't really love that much. 5 was excellent, and 6 was excellent. 7 is pretty good. It's another one. So this book is an anthology. It's a different story every time of somebody getting the silver coin, and it benefits them, but it also does something bad to them, like I guess like a monkey's paw. And this one takes place in Vegas, in a casino. So you can maybe sort of imagine what kind of good fortune somebody would have with that coin in a casino. But then, what's the other side of that? What bad happens to? So yeah, this one was okay. I like these anthology books though, because these are ones that I actually don't mind getting every month because I don't have to remember what happened the month before. So yeah, this one was pretty fun. And then one that I wanted to get to today, but I didn't get a chance to. What's the Furthest Place from Here, number 2. The first one was really interesting. The first one was one of those where at the end, I kind of like shake my head and say, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm on board. I want to see what happens. So it's a group of kids. It's sort of a post-apocalyptic world. I need to go back and refresh my brain on the first one because it was a little bit longer. There was a lot of characters and a lot of setup, so I need to refresh. But I do remember at the end, it was really interesting, so I can't wait to see where this goes. As for the other indies, it was a little bit lighter of a non-Image indie week, but we've got a couple here. So Cherry Blackbird number 5, I think this might be the last one. I think when I talked about number 4, I said I was just going to wait because I'm way behind. I think I've only read maybe 1 or 2 issues, but those first 1 or 2 issues were really, really interesting. So now that I've got this, like I said, I think it's the end. I'm just going to read them all, and that's probably the better way to read them. Basilisk number 5, I really enjoyed the first 4. I think this might be the start of a new story arc. So I think this might be another one where I hop off and wait for trades, because those first 4 are so good. But those ones are definitely better read in trade. So if you're looking for a good trade to get that you can sink your teeth into, this is a good series to do that on. Volume 1 is already out. The reprints 1 through 4. I'm pretty sure it's out. And then this is the next part to that. So I recommend this book, but it might be one that you want to read altogether. And then another one that I read today from Boom. This is from their Boom box, which is a little bit more all ages type. Is Buckhead number 1. This one I didn't love so much, so normally I try to give at least 2 issues for a book to grab me, but I just didn't feel it with this one, so I might give it till the trade and try it out. But basically these kids, it felt like Jumanji, where these kids found this big video game, and they didn't get transported in and stuck. Like, they didn't get stuck, but weird things happened in it. So that sounds like a cool premise. And I definitely am not speaking disparagingly of the book. If it sounds good to you, try it out. It just didn't grab me like I wanted it to, but I was glad to try it out, and that is an awesome variant cover. And then from Aftershock, we've got probably the weirdest book of the week, Tales of Mother F. Goose. So this, it's a one-shot. It's one of these big treasury-sized books, just a one-and-done story. So basically, this is a bunch of different fairy tale characters, like, and I'll just look at the front. The Three Little Pigs. Three Little Pigs are gluttonous casino owners. I'm reading from the front here. Little Miss Muffet is a hard-nosed cop with arachnophobia. The Three Blind Mice are ocularly impaired assassins. Puss in Boots is a feline-faced scumbag. This is not the Mother Goose you know. when I opened it up, I expected to see characters like that. These are all human characters, right? But it's basically, you know, and it says something about, you know, it's like a Quentin Tarantino story. I read a little bit into this before I realized the time and had to get down here to do this video. But it is interesting. It's basically just you know, a crime story with regular human characters, but they just happen to be fairy tale characters. Little Miss Muffet, you know, she's just referred to as Muffet in there. She's got a spider tattoo on her arm. She's a detective, but she's like, you know, like a worn down, grizzled detective kind of thing. So I can't wait to finish it because it sounds really weird, but really fun. And then last for the indies, I guess you could call this a trade, just a small collected edition, The Amazing Screw-On Head and Other Curious Objects. So this is from Mike Mignola of Hellboy fame. I've just sort of been on not a Mike Mignola Hellboy kick because I haven't read any of them yet, but I did get that box set of the 4 different Hellboy omnibuses that I've been wanting to read. I've been wanting to sort of get into that world. Now, this isn't necessarily in that world or related to it, but this is just more of that type of storytelling with that type of art, the same kind of aesthetic, which I've been really into right now. So I'm vaguely aware of this character. I have heard of him, but I don't know anything about these stories or anything. This actually just collects a few different Screw-On Head short stories. So I just thought, you know, if it's right there, collects a bunch of cool stuff, I thought I'd like to try it out. And then last but not least, I got a couple extra goodies as well. I've been looking forward to this one. This is the Saga of the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore box set. So this contains 6 trade paperbacks that collects all of Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing. Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is on my list of shame as having never read it. One of those, you know, critically acclaimed books that everybody should read that I haven't. So I've always wanted to read his Swamp Thing, and what better way to do it than with a nice box set of all these trades that collects his whole run. I probably should have taken this out of the plastic and so I could pull one out and show you. But again, these aren't hardcovers, these are just trades, but they're all together in this nice box set. And then last but not least, it's another omnibus day. I got the X-Men Inferno Prologue omnibus. So this, I got the X-Men Inferno omnibus several months ago, I think maybe over the summer or maybe late summer. So this is the prologue into all that story. I've never read Inferno, so but it's, you know, it's one of the classic X-Men stories, so I figured between this and that omnibus, I mean, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. If you have one, you really need the other to get the full story anyway. You know, and this has some Avengers in it. We've got She-Hulk and Black Knight on the back. Cyclops and Thor. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's super awesome. So I was super excited to get this one. I've been looking forward to it for a while. And that is it, guys. That is another awesome, it was a really good week of books. It was a slightly smaller stack compared to what I normally get, but that is definitely not a bad thing because it allowed me to actually read some of these books that I got today, and that was really fun. So guys, I appreciate you watching. If you like this video or any of the other videos on my channel, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give it a sarcastic thumbs up. And if nothing else, let me know what you picked up today. Did you get any omnibuses, or have you looked at Mother F Goose? Is that your thing? Just let me know what you picked up. I love comic books. I could talk about them with a room full of people or just to a camera. Guys, don't forget, comic books are supposed to be fun. They are just another fun form of storytelling. There is plenty out there that everybody can find something that they like, and it is super easy to simply ignore the things that you don't like. Also, guys, don't forget that it doesn't matter how big your comic haul is. What makes a great comic haul is that the things that you get are fun and exciting and special to you. So whether you get 1 book, 100 books, or 10 books, or 100 books, it doesn't matter. As long as you enjoy the things that you got, that's what makes a great comic book haul. So guys, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.